There has been a lot of hype around primary constructors in C# 12. I'm real excited about this feature because after I tried it in not only some of my smaller applications, but bigger applications, it saved me a lot of keystrokes, and I think you're going to absolutely love this feature. So what I want to do today is get right into the code and explain what primary constructors are, how you can use them, and why you're going to love them. So tune in. All right, I'm just going to get right into the code and we're going to talk about primary constructors. Let's first talk about constructors. All right, so I have a very simple class here. I have a person class. Here I'm creating a new logger, a person, that's me, and I'm going to print my name and pass in that logger. Now this person is going to look like any other data structure in C# that you've ever seen. Here I have a public constructor that takes in a first name and a last name. I have two little properties here with getters and setters, so I can get them and set them. In here, I'm setting the first name and the last name. Now, of course, you might be doing other things like modifying that first name and last name because there's sets and gets and all that other stuff here. But in this case, what I'm going to do is concatenate those two properties, the first name and the last name property. And then over here, when I want to print the name, I'm going to pass it to logger and I'm going to log it out. Now, the logger implementation is very simple. I put it right into this code and I'll put it up on GitHub as well. Now, what I'm going to do here is create a logger where I log the message and it does a console write line. Very, very straightforward, nothing crazy. Okay, so when I run this application, what we're going to see is that I should get my name output here into the console. So there we go, James Montemagno, nothing crazy. But if we look at this, it's quite a lot of code, right? We have this constructor. We have these constructor parameters being passed in. They're setting them to the first name. Over here, we have these public properties, but we're not really using them anywhere inside of our code that we can kind of see, right? We just have them here. The first thing that we could probably want to get rid of is just this constructor that is kind of just a bunch of lines of code for no reason. They're just assigning those properties. So let's use primary constructors. Primary constructors let you shift that constructor up as a primary constructor for the class or structure up into the public class definition. So we're going to turn on the feature. All I got to do is turn on Lang version preview. So if you have either latest version of Visual Studio or .NET 8 installed, here I have a .NET 7 project and it'll work just fine because it's compiled language. Here I can shift it up. All right, it's on. So I'm going to take this constructor, take it and move it up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that primary constructor, or that actual constructor there. All right. Now, that's very fascinating. I haven't changed the rest of my code. Nothing else is going on here, but I'm basically moved those constructor parameters up into this declaration. So we've declared these types in the inside of here. Now, these constructor parameters of first name or last name aren't used yet. So we can use them in a few ways. The first thing we could do is actually use them as the default property. So here I'm going to say first name. Then I'm going to say last name. So that is equivalent to the exact same code, but I just saved 5 lines of code, right? So before I was setting those properties in the constructor, I'm now setting them as the default value. And I can do other things on it, right? If I wanted to trim it, for example, I could trim that property and I'd be totally good to go. Now, if I run it again, what we're going to see is that I have the same exact code. James Montemagno, same output, everything that we'd expect. Now, let's say though that you're not actually really using these properties. Let's say that it was actually just like a getter, right? So here you could actually have that same exact code. You're not allowing anyone to modify it outside of this class. Well, you could just delete that, right? Like, what are you going to do with it? You're not going to modify it. You're not going to do anything. You could just use those constructor parameters in the primary constructor down inside of this last name. Right, so now I'm kind of minimizing my code because I don't need those. They're just there because I want to reference them or expose them, like that. Now, a few things have changed here, right? So if I run this structure and this code again, we're going to get the same exact output, James Montemagno. The difference here is that when I do James dot, I only get full name and print name. I no longer get first name, last name. So it's kind of up to you if you're going to expose those properties or not. But if you're not going to, you don't need anyone else to use them, then you could just go ahead and delete them. There's another thing that kind of bothers me in this code, which is this logger. So one thing we could do is also maybe shift that up actually into the primary constructor. So let's do that. I'm just going to add that onto the end. And notice that kind of like the code is like, oh, that's cool. That's great. But up here, I can no longer just create this person without the logger. So let's go ahead and pass it in. There we go. Now I can go ahead and delete that from the code. Now when we run this, we're going to get the same exact output as you would expect, right? It's the same exact code. So that's actually really, really neat. We've actually now minimized this code. We have our primary constructor, and you can do all sorts of things. So if you want to have more constructors, those constructors can call this, and then they, of course, they could do anything they want. So if you go and say public class and you have a person and you're like, hey, I really want to pass in just an iLogger, right? And I could say every default person is, public person takes in an iLogger of L, and then I could call this. I could say, James, and then Monty Magno, and then this could call the logger just like this, and I can do anything else inside of it. Like I said, pass L there. There we go. So you're still able to call the primary constructor, create more constructors, anything that you need. Kind of gives you that nice flexibility. So there's my code. I can see it. It's all on one page. It's nice and minimized. And like, this is a nice class that is all available to me. Now, these things are very similar to record types, but they have different implications because these are not being exposed outside of the class. You'd have to expose them yourself. They are constructor parameters that are then exposed as private variables available to you. All right, so that's a cool example, but what about in a real world application? So here we have our monkey finder application, which is the .NET MAUI application. And all I've done inside of here is done the same thing. I enabled the Language version of preview here because I want to be on the preview version. So we're good to go. Now, when I look at this source code, we can see that this is my view model class. It inherits from base view model. It has a few properties here that are private, like a monkey service, connectivity, geolocation. Those are services that are being injected with the default dependency injection service, which I've done a video on this channel here, which is using ASP.NET Core and .NET MAUI and other .NET projects. So here we have a constructor, a monkey service, iConnectivity, iGeolocation. All this is doing is simply calling in and setting those things. That's it, right? We can also see that it's inheriting here from and calling down into the base constructor, which is a monkey finder. So if we look at the base view model, it will take that in automatically for us and set that property. So what we could do is do the same thing. We could shift this, right? So let's go ahead and shift this up here. And then we can also shift over here our call into our base view model. So now we're not only inheriting, but we're going to call the base view model over here as well. So that's pretty cool. Now what we're able to do is actually delete all of this code. Look at this, 8 through 16 gone. Look how clean that class is, right? And this is a public partial class. We're getting auto-generated commands and properties automatically still. And now we have this one primary constructor taking in all of those. And if we actually look at some of the other view models, like the details view models, we can see the same thing, right? Look at this. We have this. We have our IMAP that we could pass in and just say map. Now we're able to get rid of all this. And of course we could pass in a name for it. So details, right? There we go. So look at that. We're just minimizing that code, streamlining that code, making it super duper simple. All right, that is a whirlwind tour. I wanted to show a simple example, but then also a real world example of how you can actually clean up your code and make your classes with primary constructors absolutely delightful to read, putting them all in one line. I love it as we shift up, shift over, and then make our actual classes so much easier to read. I love it. This is just one of the features in C# 12. I'll put a link to the blog post below, and also a great session with Mads and Dustin from .NET Conf last year, 2022. Just absolutely great to take a look at. If you have any questions, or let me know how you feel about primary constructors, leave your comments below. I'd love to see it. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, jam that subscribe button. And of course, I put out videos here just about every single week. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed it. Look forward to your uses for primary constructors. Thanks for watching.